This ain't no game, this that CSC game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just that podcast. All the shows spread fake news. We just call it podcast. West, Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he wants small fry. Tell him they better make him bang. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You got Jordy. Here he goes. This place is gone.
If we set it instead of the stone, sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are
The emotional journey to the championship.
What is up, everybody? We are coming to you live from the Shoot 360 studios. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. Every time I see the video, and I wish we could play it up here while we were doing the show intro, but for some reason it interferes with our audio and microphones. But I don't know anybody else that's got as good of a song. Shout out to our guy B Sim, which when y'all hear what he's got coming out next, y'all are gonna be flabbergasted. Sort of like Sean is when a girl gives him their phone number.
That's been once.
Well, I mean, that was the lady at Pizza Hut when she was like, I can't hear you, call back. But still, y'all going to be floored. I'm your host, Jeremy Wallman, as always, and here are my co-hosts for the evening. First off, we have the little big brother, Joe Uso, a.k.a. the right-hand man. Joey?
Acknowledge me.
Okay, Sean. That's what's going to get you fired from the podcast is listening to everybody else. And also we have our other co-host. We have a guy who may be in the witness protection program in regards to hiding from the female touch. He does have a close resemblance. Now, guys, I want you all to pay very, very close. If you're into current events, you may have seen this guy. I think I know why he's been kind of, we think Sean, we think mild manner, under the radar. I think that we may finally know why. That's all I'm going to say. For the people in the studio, we do believe that may be Sean. So we do have some.
If it's not, that's your doppelganger, bro.
Sean, sorry about that, man. Didn't mean to. If I've ruined your protection, and I apologize. But it's our guy, Sean Barber. Sean.
Well, I'll only be here for a little bit today because I got to get back. But
listen, there may be a reason why he doesn't. If that's what happened the last time he was with a lady. We're not going to get into it on the airways. But
hey.
Sean's not good with the hands. Wait a minute. Never mind. Listen, don't forget the Mossy Oak chat line is open. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however, send us your questions on the social medias. Check on the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on social media. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here on YouTube. If that's how you're watching, we do appreciate. If you would watch on YouTube, it helps us out with our sponsors. They care about YouTube views. They don't care about Twitch or Facebook or anything else. So it'll help us out more. Watch us on the YouTube. Shout out to our fine sponsors, Fitness Market, Four Pegs, the Collision Course Crew, Tailgaters, Cherry Picking, Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and our summer sponsor, our guy, and we'll have him here in the studio either next episode or the one after that, Zach Beckman from Beckman's Fine Blades. He will get your yard looking right, and he does it for an affordable charge. That's why we have him do our yard, and we've got him on with Teresa's mom here recently. So have you got in touch with him yet? You were supposed to. Okay, so we'll get that. I do want to explain something. We do have two of the three guests that I had planned for that. We're going to have just an all-time super duper show. One of the guys, like he always does, backed out on us, Peyton Siva. No, he had some scheduled stuff come up. He'll be in here for the next episode. We'll have him in here. But look, we got to get to our current guest. I've talked about everybody else too much. First off, he is the voice of a new generation of Cardinal basketball listeners and watchers. He had a rough product to cover when he started out here at U of L, and he made chicken crap into chicken salad. He is a hometown guy with a love and knowledge for the game. He probably could make a great living off of just being a voice actor, but too bad he's ours for now. You've had your John Tong. You've had your Sean Moth. And we have ours. It's the one and only Lance McGarvey. Lance, welcome in, my man.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was a nice introduction, man. I appreciate that.
Listen,
I did not inherit an elite basketball program at the time, and then it only got a little bit worse from there. But it's awesome right now, and just kind of rip off the rearview mirror and look forward, and let's go, man. This year's going to be one heck of a season, I think.
I don't even remember your first 2 years for some reason.
Chris Mack and Chris Mack, and then that was the one where, it all just went. The first one was the COVID season.
That's right. That's right.
But we did beat Kentucky. That was actually my first game that I announced.
Who?
We beat. Oh, my bad.
Never heard of them.
That blue team up the road. Does that sound familiar?
That's better. That's better. I like that.
And we did. No, Louisville did beat them, and then it was just kind of a weird ride for the next 4 seasons. But now, hey man, we're in a good spot.
Elizabeth, that's not all today. There's more. Next, for me, the greatest is more than just a catchphrase to my next guest. It's family. It's a guy that paved his own way at U of L rather than follow the easier path. He was a member of the U of L baseball team and went on to become a great in his own field. Videographer, I know I was going to mess that up, and photography. You may call him the GOAT as far as that's concerned, and I do too, but the only difference is I'm blessed enough to also call him my friend. He is the one and only Asaad Ali.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here again. So I've done a couple of your podcasts, so I'm excited to join again.
So this makes, I believe, your 4th time. Is it your? So we did one at 4 Pegs. Did you do 2 here at the house? One. Okay, so this is number 3, and Lance, I believe this is also your number 3.
I think it's their third. Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I did that on purpose. I wanted it to be have 3 times.
Sean's still stuck on 0.
Sean is still stuck on 0. It's okay. That's the theme of the show. You'll figure that out pretty quickly. We're gonna start off with men's basketball. Lance, how are you enjoying? We talked about you being, because a lot of people, when I grew up, it was John Tong a little bit, and it was Sean Moth. For a whole new generation of fans, it's you, and that's a big deal. That's a big thing. How are you enjoying that? Are you kind of like just give us the experience?
I mean, I think I would say, just as the other two would say, or any public address announcer, really. I mean, it's not about me. It's just I'm there to inform and somewhat elevate the atmosphere a little bit, kind of inject a little bit of electricity if I can, but it certainly isn't about me and my performance. That's just a small piece of the overall experience for the fans. But I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and we've talked about that before. When you follow 2 legends like that, I mean, I don't know how you can't make any mistakes. You're being judged by every fan who's had experienced excellence from that role for many, 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 many years. They know nothing but the very best. You can't top it. You can't top John Tong, and you can't top Sean Moth. You just can't do it. So my whole thing was sit down there and do the best I could and perform the best that I possibly could with the passion that I have inherently as a Cards fan, as a U of L graduate and all that. And I think that it's gone really well, but I really don't try to put that kind of pressure on myself that there's a whole generation of fans now that I'll be these little kids
people
that are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They don't know about before that. And then things are good now. They're wearing their Cards gear with pride. And I don't know. It's a lot. It's fun to think about. I hope that, I make them proud, and I hope I help them to have a good time enjoying the basketball game.
I think it's really cool because, like we were saying, when we were growing up, we watched the games, we listened to the games, and it was the very familiar voices. And even when things were not going well, you take comfort in knowing that person's there, right? And just to I'm still. So you've been. Is this going to be your 6th year?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah,
okay.
I started 2020.
Yeah. So, and what a time that. Well, we were talking about that before the show. That was the COVID year. That interview process. I remember how wild it was because our guy Dalton, who was probably like 9.5 years old when that happened, was going out for it. I told him, you want to shoot a shot, you want to shoot your shot, aim big. Like if that's what you want to do, try out. And I remember that whole process and how crazy it was. And just like with anything, with any kind of change, I remember you got the job and automatically people were like, well, who's this goofball?
Right, yeah.
We can't stand him. This guy sucks. And,
I mean, a few people, Jeremy, it wasn't like the whole place was saying that, but it felt
no, it was me.
Another like, he's our goofball.
Yeah, he's our group. No. But just the familiar, even through the Penny Kane years, as I like to call them, just hearing you, the few times we got to be excited and hype on the overhead, just hearing that it really helped out with fan morale. It wasn't really a whole lot helping with that.
Well, I think these guys, they help sometimes, to bring the crowd back to life. When there may be some lulls or whatever, if they hear the excitement in Lance's voice and how he's calling the game or whatever, like it can help rally the troops, so to speak.
I think that's true. I mean, I think there are times when I feel the need to do that too. But also you got to understand a lot of it
up a little higher.
Yeah, exactly. A lot, and a lot of it though for me is just I'm not performing like cognitively thinking about I need to do this, I need to do that. It's just what I feel. It's all the feel of the game, and it's just the way that I've experienced watching basketball, at Freedom Hall and at the Yum Center over all these years. And I think I just feel the crowd maybe going into a little bit of lull. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, sometimes it is up to me to sort of get it going on. And any public address announcer, I think, would say the same thing. You can feel the crowd kind of get lulled to sleep a little bit. But no, you mentioned Dalton, and I love Dalton, by the way. I'm a huge Dalton Pence fan. And that young man, his day is coming. I mean, he's very passionate about public address announcing, and when he gets the opportunity, he'll certainly capitalize and do a fantastic job.
So he suffers from what most of the youngsters do these days. If you don't get it right away, it's stupid. You don't know why you didn't get it. And most of them give up. Dalton has not done that. He hasn't given up. He's
boxing.
He's doing boxing. He does high school sports. He does so. Very, very proud of him. And again, I had many a times I had to sit him down when he didn't get to. Well, think about this. He didn't get one of the most prestigious jobs in the country, and the first thing he said to me is like, "Maybe I shouldn't do this anymore."
Oh man!
And I'm like,
it
"Brother,
breaks my heart to hear it."
But that's just how kids are wired these days. It's like if they're not trending on Twitter overnight, then they're not worth a crap.
Instant satisfaction,
yes,
gratification, whatever.
Absolutely. So. What I know you've got to be around him a little bit, Pat Kelsey. What are your thoughts on him and the job he's done? Obviously, he's done. There's not a whole lot you can say about the job he's done. But in your opinion, so you've got to know him. Have you first off, have you got to know him a little bit personally?
No, I mean it's not like I've spent a lot of time with him. We haven't sat down and had lunch, but I've talked with him a number of times for just a couple of minutes. And the thing about Pat Kelsey is he obviously can coach basketball. He's a great recruiter. But the energy, it's just everywhere he goes, everybody he meets. And if you just sit and observe him, you see this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is there to give all of the energy that he has, positive energy, to whomever he's speaking with, and you can watch the videos of Pat Kelsey. He's just got this presence that makes you feel like, I don't know, just he energizes you,
Mm-hmm.
but he's fantastic. And the thing that really hit me hard, I've gotten to know his uncle a little bit just because he's around the Yum Center quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's his mother's brother, and he's an older gentleman, retired, just the sweetest man in the world. And I think he's Pat Kelsey's godfather. I'm sure of that. And so when I met Pat Kelsey, I told him, I said, "Hey, I've actually gotten to talk to your Uncle Mike a little bit. He's a wonderful man." And Pat lit up, and that's all he wanted to talk about was the accomplishments of his uncle and of his godfather, and talk about just what a wonderful family person he is. And man, that speaks a lot. I mean, he really didn't want to talk about anything else. And you just get the sense that he truly is fundamentally, just down to the core, he's just a wonderful family man that's living his life and living his passion, chasing his dreams and taking no excuses to stop him. And it's just pretty impressive. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Well, I'll say this. So I loved Coach P. I had a lot of dealings with him, and he was always good to me, but he was a different kind of coach. Pat Kelsey was not only the difference, the change we needed, but he was also the type of coach that this fan base needed. They needed to be lifted up. They needed to be cheered up. They needed to be told it was going to be okay. Now, KP tried to do that. For some reason, people didn't listen to him at first, and then his actions kind of showed why. it is what it is. We're not going to throw any dirt on him. That's still our guy. Shout out to Jeff Nunn for the beautiful picture, by the way. That is one of the best pictures I think I've ever seen in my entire life. He just sent it to me. But Pat Kelsey, just from the jump, the day he comes on campus to do his intro conference, they show a video clip of him crossing the street, and he runs into one of his cousins driving down Floyd Street.
Yeah.
Like nuts.
31 cousins or something like that.
Yeah. The day, and I don't take credit for a lot. Y'all know me. But what I will say is that the day Michael Brown came in at 1:00 in the morning for his recruiting visit, and me, Steve Rummage, Ty Spalding, Jay Spall, we were all there at the hotel. We had arranged for some fans to come up there and meet Michael and like show him what Louisville was all about. And well, I didn't arrange. I just showed up. You know, sometimes you just some people put together the show, and then sometimes you just got to have the players come out and play it. And I was just one of the players. I didn't put any of that together. But when he met me, I was like, man, Coach, when I met him, I was like, Coach, it's so nice to meet you. He's like, dude, we're so excited. Like, I don't think he knew who I was. I don't think he knew me from that. But he's like, man, we're so excited to have you here. It's awesome that y'all are all up here and going to show Michael what it's like to be we're going to get this guy. And sure enough, we did. And my God, I mean, we'll talk about it with Peyton next episode. But this kid is just showing out on the world stage right now. And it's awesome. It was announced this past week that Baylor was added to our non-conference schedule. Now, I can't remember. You all may be able to bring it up in your memory banks, but I don't ever remember a non-conference schedule. Even with Denny Crum, we would play UCLA at the end of the season, kind of like we are with Baylor. We're playing them, I think, with 3 weeks left in the season.
I think it's actually Valentine's Day, maybe.
It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So I do like that. I have been calling for years for the return of the random non-conference game, because the UCLA game, man, I can remember one of the time. It's one of my childhood memories. I remember Brian Kaiser stepping up and beating them at UCLA with the last second. I think it was at UCLA, but it was a last second three. And that's just a memory that stuck with me forever. So those type of games we welcome. But this is our non-conference schedule. We are at Arkansas versus the Smurf Turds, at Tennessee versus Memphis, exhibition against Kansas, neutral site Baylor, neutral site IU, neutral site Cincinnati. I don't know why you would even need to play in the ACC if that was your non-conference schedule. You could play Conference USA if that's your non-con. So be it. But then you have to also add the Dukes, the North Carolinas, and Virginia. Just you never know. A lot of these teams in the ACC, though, were terrible this year because of the coaching turnover, because of them having to relearn who their identities are. And they'll get back to it. Like, I have no doubt the ACC will be back in no time. But
that's a Denny Crum schedule. I mean, that takes you back to those days. And I do think, like you said, I don't know that any schedule. I can't remember one right off the top of my head that was that tough, that's, strong. But that's what it brings you back to. And, it'll get you battle tested, get you battle ready, and with the ACC being down last year, that's one thing that hurt us at selection show.
Absolutely.
Selection time. We didn't have that resume. We struggled early against those non-conference teams. And then by the time we got to the end of the season, when it was time to selection show, we had a win against Clemson. I mean, that was really it. We had a win against Clemson, and we didn't have a whole lot else to show. And I think that's what hurt us. So he's taking no chances this time. We may end up with 8, 9, 10 losses this year.
Maybe, but I think we have. My point was
going to be good losses.
Yeah, these out of conference schedule is extremely tough. And most years I'd be like, what are we doing? But this year it feels like
he knows
this team is going to be very capable of playing right there with all these teams.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, an exhibition game against Kansas. Are you kidding me? That's usually against Pee Wee State or something.
Belmont.
Lenore Ryan. Let's not forget athletes in action.
Yeah.
Just those crazy type things. And yeah, we do. We got a return game so we go to Lawrence next year to exhibition them. The rest of the ones that I just said are all return. The Tennessee one, I think this is the final in that series. And the Arkansas one is the ACC SEC challenge. So that one won't be repeated. But Kentucky, that'll be repeated. Memphis, I believe, is a 6-year deal with 2 home, 2 away, 2 neutral. And this first one is home, and we get to welcome back another guy who was kind of the, I don't know how to put it without it coming out the wrong way, but he was blamed for a lot that wasn't really his fault. Our own Nolan Smith will come back and be there on the sideline, and he's told me that I have to wear Memphis colors, and I told him he can go frost himself. So that's never going to happen. I would never put blue on.
I don't own any blue.
Matter of fact, if somebody tried to bury,
probably the bluest thing. There's blue in this, and it kind of making my head hurt.
I'm telling you right now. You all are all witnesses right now. If they try to put me in something blue in my casket, rip it off like Hulk Hogan.
Well, I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, I know that. Well, you may not be around now. We don't know who.
Well, you're older, so.
Yeah, older. Well, the funny thing is nobody ever guesses I'm the older one. So
you knew he was older, didn't you, Lance?
Yeah, I knew, but
Okay.
but it wasn't that I was guessing. I just happened to know.
Well, yeah.
Don't put that on me, man.
I call him the little big brother, so he's got to be little in some aspect. And it definitely ain't in size. You big.
The big little brother.
Right. Big little brother. That's what I said. That's what I meant.
When's the last time you two guys actually physically got it on, man?
We never have.
Never?
No.
Oh,
Not
really?
once have we punched each other.
No.
Never.
I mean, we may walk by and do that,
Yeah.
but we've never had a physical
Never
Now, I've
taken each other to the
I've
ground.
thrown stuff at him and then took off running when we were, a kid because I was faster and hey, if can't beat him, sneak attack him and run.
Joey was sneaky too because he tried to do stuff like that. I remember one time we were playing in the back of my grandpa's truck, and I didn't mean to, but he had shoved me to the back of the truck, and I'd picked up a piece of wood or a book or something, and threw it at him, just not even thinking. And
That was in the house.
Was it in the house?
Yeah, the truck thing, the wood plank. You remember those little zip like motorcycles? You had the thing in there and you pull them and
Sure.
That's what we were playing with in the back of the truck on that board, and that plank fell and hit me in the eye. The book was in the house.
Okay.
See, I would have thought that with all the wrestling, I know you guys are huge.
Oh, we've
wrestling
wrestled.
fans,
Oh yeah.
But
but
not-
I would assume that that would escalate,
Not out of
into an all out brawl. They
No,
never did.
Our parents wouldn't let that happen. Like they taught us, the value of family at a young age, and it was always like y'all are each other. I can't tell you how many times I got into fights that nobody asked me to get into
Thank you.
because of Joey. But he never took up for me like that. That's weird. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you.
Didn't have to most of the time.
I actually, one of the more embarrassing stories I have is this one time this guy was messing with him at church and said something slick to me at church. And I just walked up and punched him right in the nose. Bop! At church.
Bless you.
Yeah. And that was the last time he messed with Joey or me. And I was embarrassed about it because it was at church. You don't do stuff like that at church, but it is what it is. Let's get off that stuff. No, but there were plenty of times we played one-on-one basketball and the hip checks would get
Sure.
more physical. Or
Good for you guys.
But
man.
never-
That's
never-
good brotherly love, man.
Never
That's
any of
awesome.
these, yeah.
No.
All right, good for you guys.
No,
I didn't want to hurt him.
No, we used our powers for good. We fought other people, other families, the brothers that tried to. We had we had a family that lived a few doors down that liked to steal stuff out of our backyard that we had to take care of every now and then. So it is what it is. Last about Louisville basketball for right now. What and it's funny that Joey brought up a prediction of losses. What do we need to do to have us? Because you know how fickle and finicky Card Nation. After you have so many bad things happen to you, and you get something good, overreaction's always the key to making yourself feel better. So you never know what people will consider a successful season. So to you, I think we only lose 6 games total. I think that Michael Brown, I almost said Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan on our team, we're going to do really, really well. No, I think Michael Brown is, they switched his height on the website earlier this week. I don't think that's the last time you'll see his height switch before the season starts.
Because he's probably still growing, obviously.
Absolutely. I'll never, the weirdest one of those ever was when Anthony Davis, he won Chicago Player of the Year like at 6'6". And then the next year he was at
6'11".
6'11". That was the craziest jump I've ever seen.
And to clarify, I wasn't saying 8, 9, 10 games thinking that's what I think they're going to lose.
No,
I'm just
no,
saying
no.
you could potentially lose that many
you could
and still feel pretty good about the season, I think.
What to you is a successful season?
I don't know. I don't like to predict.
Oh no, I'm putting
wins
you on
and
the
losses.
spot.
Okay, but
Lance McGarvey said we're going undefeated. Everybody.
What I want to tell you is this fan base, though, it's more about what they see and the effort that they see more than it is necessarily 4 losses or 6 losses or 8 losses. If they're seeing a team that's capable, but they're going to be, man, they're being thrown through the gauntlet in the right out of the gate. And you're talking about, yes, Michael Brown is a special player, very special player. He's still going to be a freshman, and he's, that doesn't come without some freshman mistakes. That's going to happen. This is a team that is all brand new to each other, with the exception of Javon Hadley, and then Kobe is coming, but of course he didn't play on the court last year. You got Case and Pryor back, who missed most of the season with injury.
7 games, yeah.
And who else is coming back? Ali Khalifa, which
didn't touch
Ali Khalifa, he wasn't on the floor either. So you've got, they're familiar with the program, they're familiar with all that, but it's not like this team has been playing together very long. So it will take time for this team to gel and be everything that they're going to be come early February. That said, you can't afford to lose 10 or 12 games before then and say,
right,
well, we played a hard schedule. You can't, that doesn't work. Right.
So
the fortunate thing is that all the other teams are going through the same thing, man, with the NIL deal and the transfer portal.
Yep.
Everybody has to assemble a new team and put it together and make it gel really quickly. So to answer your question, what would this fan base expect? Man, I see a lot
what
of people
would you?
out there.
You could trying to change my words so I don't call you out specifically.
Wow.
Okay, that's fine. We'll switch to that because I don't want to get anybody.
We have 30. If Louisville loses 8 games or less, I think it's a hell of a year.
I agree.
I'll go to the tournament. I think we got to be a second weekend team.
We do need.
I don't
to win
really care about how many wins or losses we have in the regular.
I agree
season.
with that. We
got to make that second weekend.
It's been a while.
Yep, we got to make that second weekend.
It's not been Shawns like levels of plateau and drought, but it's been a minute.
Just with the level of coaching and the level of talent that's been brought in, I really think we need to be in that Elite 8 area to really consider a successful great season.
But that's a standard for Louisville basketball every year. I'm with you, Joe. You said it. I mean,
yeah,
exactly
I'm just glad that we have the potential to get there.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to say it and kind of like, I mean, realistically, we could be more than Elite 8. It could be a Final Four run team.
Could be
with the level of talent, because I mean we've got a lot more depth, good depth, and not hating against any of the players from last season, but more athletic, more skilled depth. I mean, we're talking about Ali Khalifa and all this, and then you got Sananda Frew, lurking back there. That's probably going to be in the NBA in a year or two, himself. And at every position, you've got 2 or 3 guys that you can talk about that can step in. And
they just added Kamara, the kid from the NBA, where Emmanuel Okorafor and Churchill Abbas.
Kanai Roos is back. We almost
forgot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm really excited to see
his jump,
the jump for him, because I think he's a NBA player in the making.
He's
for
got
sure.
A lot of talent, man.
He's got the frame, he's got the length, he's got the athletic ability.
He's got the passion. He loves the city. He loves it. A lot of people don't know this. He could have very easily went to Memphis with Nolan in them. He could have been gone. He didn't have to come back because of the way they treated Nolan. But he stayed here.
He could have left again after this past season.
Well, yeah. So
he didn't. So he's.
Go to the chat line real quick. Babu says, got to be ready from day one. Got to win some of these non-con games, or they will say some of the same things. Only one because they were in a down ACC. Our guy Robbie on the golf course, but always tuned in. We appreciate that. Brian Davis says, hello, everybody. Hello, Asaad. Asaad says hello.
How we doing?
Tom Jeffrey says, good afternoon, fellas. Good afternoon. And Robbie wants to tell us once again, he's on the golf course. Robbie does that, though.
It's too hot to be out there on a golf course.
It really is. I don't disagree with that. Last but not least, though, I wanted to ask, so are you doing the TBT again this year?
Yeah. I'm actually I think I'm going to be doing all the games, even the non-bill games. I did see where they said Trez may not play in the TBT.
Yeah,
I don't know
kind
if
of a
any other
bummer.
further update. I just saw that. It's not for sure, but he said something to the effect on Twitter, something I may not be able to.
Yeah,
play
he did quantify that by saying I may not. So the rumors are he may be getting offered an NBA deal.
Okay,
because of his performance in Australia. These past, I think it's Australia. He's been at Adelaide. Isn't that in Australia, Sean?
Yeah.
Do something.
And he's been doing the
he's been doing the Big Three.
Big Three.
He had committed to the Big Three and TBT this summer. This is the first year they allow you to play in both. Before you couldn't play in both. And I think it was last night or the night before he put out a tweet that was like, I don't know if, no offense to the Ville, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to play or not. I hope he does because
I sure do too.
I have been salivating to
Yeah.
see him and Earl Clark play together. You want to talk about multi-generational, I mean, Earl was not only one of the nicest people I ever met, and I love Earl to death, but one of the best basketball players I saw come through Louisville. And I'm going to ask this question, I think, at the end, if y'all will remind me, because I'll forget probably. Michael, I want each of you to finish this sentence. Michael Brown is the best Louisville freshman since ... I want you all to give me your answer towards the end of the show. But tell us a little bit about the TBT. I know it's a different game. It's it's still basketball, but you play to a certain score mark. Are there more foul? I don't really know a whole lot about the TBT.
It's essentially quarters, but when you get down to the last 5 minutes, I believe it's 5 minutes of the last quarter, 4 minutes.
I think it's the 4 minute mark.
Okay, and I don't remember
first
all the
dead
details.
ball once you pass the 4 minute.
Then they go to the elam ending, which is whatever the score is. Let's say it's 70 to 60. The leading team, they add 8 points to that, and that's the winning score. So the team that is 60 can still get to 78 before the team that's 70.
Right.
But that becomes the set score to win. So you never know what the winning score is going to be until you get to that point. But it's 8 points above the leading team score.
Okay.
So if you have a huge lead, it's obviously a monstrous advantage. If you only have a 1 point lead, it's you're starting from scratch. But it eliminates, I think, the unnecessary fouls to try to run out the time and all that, because you have the opportunity to score a free throw or two, and that gets you that much closer to that target score. But it's an interesting concept. Other than that, I mean, basketball pretty much plays the same. I don't know of a lot of differences, how they call the game or whatever. Obviously, it's a little bit different than a college game. These aren't kids anymore. These are older guys. And I say older, I'm 56. These guys are 32 and 34. Right. But, it's pretty physical. I will say that. It got pretty heated last year at a couple times.
It's pretty fun, too, because we were able to go to a couple of the games every year that it's been here in Louisville. And I've had such a great – last year, I was still recovering, and Peyton hit me up and was like, hey, I don't know if you're getting out or anything yet, but if you are, I've got you 2 seats for the TBT game. I think we were playing DJO's team. Whatever the first round game was, I know DJO was on that team. And I'll get you a couple tickets. So we show up, and we're sitting right in the middle of the Louisville basketball team. Rain Smith's on one side, Kanai Roos on the other. I'm like, he really hooked me up. Appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I just wanted to go to the game, and you set me at first class press row.
Isn't there something in the elam ending, like with the fouls, that it's an automatic foul shot and the ball? Isn't there something along that?
There is something, Joe, and I didn't study the rules again. I
believe there is to keep teams from doing that and fouling and blah blah blah. I think there is it's almost like a technical, right, where you get a free throw on the ball, to keep.
So for a dead ball foul, something like that.
I just think it's fascinating. To be honest with you, I think it makes it more enjoyable. It really, to me, it really does. And even if I was thinking about actually during the Pacers playoff run, all the games that they were down by a whole lot and then came back and won. If there was something like the elam ending in there, would they have been able to do that? Because it would be back and forth, 2-pointer, then they'd hit a 3, 2-pointer, just chip. So you can see advantages for either way, but I think for this, it's the perfect thing for this. It's definitely enjoyable. All right, especially Russ hit that,
Yeah.
that big one, and it's like, all right, you're just waiting. Actually, he scored all 8 points, I think, in the Elam ending that particular
That
game.
one game he did, yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun.
One thing I'm looking forward to this year is now nobody's there to hear me or whatever. I'm not saying that they are or any PA.
That's
guy,
the only reason I go.
That's the only reason I go too.
But Freedom Hall,
crazy.
As you know, it's important to be able to at least hear what the PA announcer's saying. The last couple of years, it's been pretty bad. I mean, I hear it from everyone that it sounds like you're shouting into a tin can and it's rattling around. Well, the good news is Freedom Hall has put tiles back in. And I saw a video that came out of like a tractor pull they had earlier this year, and they have their tiles back in the ceiling.
Okay.
And that means that the sound should be a lot better. I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone about that, but I'm hoping so, just so you can hear what's going on. Because when you make introductions and you can't even hear who I'm really announcing, they just happen to run out. Unless you're sitting right there in the mid court, I think they can hear pretty well. But through the rest of the crowd, I mean, it's wah, 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 wah,
We grew up on
wah,
them
wah.
tractor pulls. Dad took us to those tractor pulls in Freedom Hall.
And the demolition derby.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
see,
they were so
A
loud.
few years back, though, they yanked those tiles out for somebody that wanted a big event, paid to have those removed. And so without the tiles, the sound, there's no way for it to stay contained. And it makes a huge difference. I mean, a big difference. So I'm hoping that's accurate. I think I saw a video where they have tiles in there, and I hope that it's going to sound a lot better.
So they are playing it, because I thought that Freedom Hall was up, like they weren't sure they were going to be able to get it in Freedom Hall, and they were discussing moving it to Knights Hall or something. So they have decided it was going to be in Freedom Hall for sure.
That's what I've been
Okay.
told. Yeah,
All right.
Freedom Hall. Yeah.
Listen, I've had so much stuff going on this summer. I can't keep my left from my right most of the time straight. But yeah.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say one more thing about the Elam inning is like it's just so special because at that point it makes these guys really tap back into their real like college athlete ability, because there is no time that's saving you. It's who wants it more. So you got to go get that bucket. I don't remember if it was the Kentucky game or the game before, but everybody was dead tired. So like you're running off no legs. So who really wants it? And it's about the will more than anything. And so that's the best part to me, because you really see the toughness of these guys. And do they still have it like they had it back in the day? So
Can't just dribble the ball, try to dribble the clock out.
Dude, Peyton still had it. And you could see every ounce of passion he had for it. He was getting fired up. He was, and one of the best, where I was going with my story was sitting there with Rain and Kanai and everybody. This was before they had ever stepped foot on a Louisville basketball court. And they were cheering these guys on. They were loving them. And I still never forget, Chris Jones hit the three to win that first game for us. Or maybe it was at the end of a half and not the game win. It was something along either end of the second, end of the game. And he ran and jumped, not knowing I couldn't hold him, but ran and jumped into my arms. And I did kind of, I caught him, stutter stepped a little bit, but he had no idea that I was injured or anything. But just the love of the game and the love of the city, it just has me really, that lets me know that unlike Coach Mack, and no disrespect to him, he would go after talent, but he wouldn't necessarily go after guys that love the game. Pat Kelsey, from now on, he has earned my respect. And when he goes after somebody and we get them, I don't have to question if they love the game. I know he's not going to go after seeing that first crop and dealing with seeing them personally. I don't have any kind of doubts whatsoever. So that's really cool. The TBT starts, I believe, in 2 weeks.
On the 19th, and the Ville actually plays at 12:30. So the first game of the TBT here in the Ville, in Louisville, they're going to play, and then the rest of the day there are 3 more games, and then the following day they play. If the Ville wins, they'll play then. I think it's in the evening, and then I think it's the 23rd would be if it'd be the regional finals.
Okay,
if they win that, then I think they would come back the next week at some point and play and host whoever is from, I think, the Lexington regional, actually.
Now, I know Sean, I'm going to call on you, and if you disappoint me, I'm going to mute your microphone.
Well, just go ahead and mute it, because,
we won the right to host all the way through the tournament or all the way to the finals?
All the way through the tournament.
So
long as
if
we're
we play in
still
the
in it.
championship, we'll play the championship here in Louisville.
Correct.
Okay. I thought so. I wasn't sure. Which one of y'all called him a good little boy at the beginning of before the show? Somebody called him a good little. Was it Lance?
No,
No, I didn't.
I wouldn't say that.
No, we're talking about 2.5 Men.
Oh yeah. The good little. Okay, all right.
He's the half man.
Good job, half man. Good job. Want to transition, and we'll get back to basketball here in a few. But I want to transition to, we talk about sports. I want to talk about some personal stuff too. One of the things that's been really cool about doing this, and we've been doing this, the website turns 14 or 15 this year. We've been doing the podcast in one iteration or the other since 2011, 2012. It's been the personal relationships that you've got to grow that's really special. I mean, the fact that you cover a guy like Teddy Bridgewater and he still reaches out to you from time to time to check on you. Jalen Smith, one of my favorite. Brandon Radcliffe. I got to stop naming names because the second I name a couple, Preston Brown will be well, you didn't mention me. But just the special
Monty Montgomery,
our guy. But these two, like, perfect example. Like, throughout my entire health struggle, Lance was checking on me every week, calling me, texting me. Asaad was texting me, checking on me. Like and these guys are like y'all are friends, you're family to me. Love y'all to death. I appreciate it, but it's just so awesome to be able. There's some people that do this that aren't in it for the right reasons. They just want clicks and likes and guess I got to talk to Lamar Jackson the other day, and that they just want to stroke their own ego and stuff. To me, this, you all know this. This is as a former Cardinal myself, as a lifelong Louisville liver. I love this university. I love the program. I would argue, even you all saw it. I sat here and argued for 2 years that Kenny Payne just needed a little bit of time. And even when I saw that wasn't going to be the case, I still flew the flag, but you get to meet people and it's so special and love it. I got a DM the other day that I'd like to share with everybody. And it was somebody messaging me telling me that after I got out of the hospital, they were so inspired to see that. And there was one in between. So went to the hospital in January. They put some clips. I had 4 aneurysms.
Coils.
I wish they were aneurysms. Aneurysms. Did they have barbecue sauce on them? Because
32 coils in you.
Yeah, 32 coils. Bop, 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 bop. Came home. I didn't do my show for like 3 weeks. And then on week 4, I was like, they told me it'd be 2 to 4 weeks till I'd be healed. I'm just going to do a show. And I am laboring through this show. And I forgot. I thought it might have been Lance, but it was somebody. But somebody got on the chat line and was like, Jeremy, we know how much you love the fan base. We know how much you love doing this.
In the show.
Rest. And even that. So for me, this show has been therapeutic in a number of different ways, with Dad's passing being the most prevalent, because instead of being sad, this show, force may be the wrong, but it guided me and pushed me to get on here and talk with friends. And I mean, I don't know everybody that comments and stuff like that, but people just showing their pure concern and love. It's just like, it's a powerful thing. And they said that I had inspired them. You two have inspired me in different ways. Lance, you've had some stuff that has been in the public light. You've also had some stuff not necessarily in it. And when you have called me to talk about it, just like I called and talked to you about my issues and struggles, it's just like it's just so awesome. And then aside with you, like, I don't even know if you realize this, but and if you don't want to talk about it, I understand it. It's fine. But the morning, so we get a call at 6 a.m. the morning that your dad passed, and it was Drew Diener, and he was calling us down. Hey, the eyes of the entire world are going to be on you all this morning. We had the 10 to noon on 93.9 The Ville. The eyes of the whole world is going to be on you, and to hear everybody call in and give their story, tell their stories, and I never did get to meet him like directly, but I've known a ton of people that knew him. I've heard all kinds of great stories, from John Ramsey to Brandon Bender. Like, just that gives you a wide range right there. hearing the stuff. Like I always kind of felt like I knew him anyway, but just to me, what a better way for the entire like we were the first people to talk about it. It happened on our way to the studio. Well, it didn't happen, but the news broke on the way, and it was just like it was therapeutic for us. And again, I didn't know him personally, but he was somebody I loved my whole life. Like very inspirational person to me, very important person to my life. Every time I did something athletically, and you all might think I'm blowing smoke, but to myself, I was like, man, what would Ali do, man? Like I gotta like he represented this city so hard. That's what I want to do as well. So, and Lance, I don't is your father still with us?
No, I lost my dad 22 years ago. Yeah, unfortunately.
So I said all this to say this because I still have a issue with the grieving process because as you all remember, and I keep saying this and bringing this up, and I'm not saying it for attention or anything, but my dad passed away 6 months later. I'm in the hospital for 4 months. I don't really get to grieve. I get home. I'm focusing on rehabbing and my health. I don't really get to grieve. The only thing I get to do is get on the microphone, do these shows, and the love and support is very, very helpful. But what I'm wanting to know is what are some kind of the things that helped you out? Because you're never going to forget them, right? That's not going to happen. But what are some things that you did? Asking for advice, from your big brother right now is what I'm doing. What are some things that you did to help you kind of, because you don't want to be this. I do know people who have lost somebody and that's what they focus on that every day. They drive themselves crazy. They just, this to me, what it forced me to do is just remember the good times and not even think about the bad times. And this show helped me out. And I know we've had private conversations where you called me up and like, man, I don't know how you did the show with all this stuff happening in your personal life. I'm like, man, it's therapy. But what are some things?
Yeah, it causes you to live in the moment as opposed to drifting around. I understand all that totally. For me, I mean, my dad was my best friend. We talked all the time. I mean, when I say he was my best friend, he was my best friend. And it was very, very difficult. I still think of him all the time, and it still gets me emotional sometimes. I don't think for some people and their fathers, I just don't, or their mother, I just don't think there is a way that you just get over it or that, you learn to live with that emptiness or that missing. But the way that you can honor their lives is important. I think that's the thing to take that I carried with me was what did I want to show to my kids that my dad showed to me?
Sure.
What was important to us and where did we cherish our memories and what can I pass that on to others? And so as an example, we went to the Outer Banks of North Carolina several times. We haven't been back in 15 years. That's where my dad and I spent all of our time at the beach. We'd go to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm taking my kids who are now 30, 28, and 23. We're all going with my wife to the Outer Banks this year for a vacation.
That's so awesome.
And I'll show them the things that we did. And I let that memory live through me through the experiences. I remember that right after he passed, once it got warm on his birthday was May 23rd. I took my older son, who was about 6 at the time, and we went up and played golf at the golf course that my dad loved to play. And it was just me playing and my son riding around in the cart with me. And I just played that round of golf, just seeing him out on the golf course, man, thinking of where he would be, what shots he'd be hitting. So I kind of embraced the pain of it. I embraced, you got to take some time to grieve, man. It's hard. When you lose the person who meant that much to you, and we were talking about you guys fighting earlier, and you said you didn't, and your parents raised you differently than that. I mean, that just automatically tells me how impactful your father was in your life, your mother. So when
my dad sucked at golf,
I remember one time he hit the ball and it went behind
us.
I don't know how I don't know the real answer to that, but I know that if you make sure that you don't forget them, you can't just sweep it away. Feel that pain, feel that missing, but you have to go live your life. You have to find a way. But one more thing about that. My dad never heard me announce one single basketball game or one single event of any kind. I had a terrible fear of public speaking, and I didn't want to announce it.
Isn't that crazy? I did too when I was growing up. I could not stand to talk in public.
So my dad died in 2003 in January. In 2003, that year, I've told this story a few times, but St. Francis of Assisi is where my kids were going to school, and they wanted me to announce their their Christmas basketball tournament for the 6th and 8th grade teams or whatever. Because the guys, when we were standing around, I could always just kind of do now betting, I do all those stupid things, and so they said, dude, come announce our games. And I did, because I wanted to show my kids that you have to overcome your fears. You cannot let fear stop you from doing something you think would be fun. And another thing my dad had said was, you may not find your passion in your vocation, but you can find it in your avocation. Uh-huh. And I carried that with me. I tried to put it all together. And that's when I started to announce. And dude, it was this like exciting. I was a part of this game and got to help. And these kids were smiling ear to ear. It wound up going over and doing it for Wiley Brown over at IU Southeast. And then Louisville City came, I never planned any course of like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then I'll be the PA guy at U of L men's basketball. It just fell into place.
That's so awesome.
But it all comes from a place of excitement and passion. And if people, I know that there are people that still miss Sean. Hell, I miss Sean. If I wasn't the PA guy, I wish Sean would be the PA guy,
No doubt.
But at the end of the day, if people really knew what was inside of me when we're watching those games, if they could feel what I feel, I think they'd be happy because they know someone is experiencing it with them on a different level than what the normal person would. It's everything to me. So I that's the story of all that. That's how I honor my dad, is try to just go on and live life like he would be proud of me living.
Yeah. And you never, like, after it happens. So I can remember just getting so frustrated every Saturday. Dad knew that was my day to sleep in, worked all week. I needed to sleep in, but every Saturday at 6:30, he would call me and ask me how to get the TV turned on.
You'd answer, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'd be like, hello,
what are you doing?
Hello.
Jeremy.
What are you doing? I'm like, Dad, that wasn't even the worst part. Yeah, he would do the what's up. What are you doing? I'm asleep. All right, call you back.
All right, well, just come when you get up.
You don't get the comment. You still have your dad. You're out of this conversation.
Well, that's about par for the course for Sean.
Yeah, Sean's always. What about for you, Asaad? What are some things? Because you always, as a human, if you're a good human, you want to learn how to grow and learn how other people handle things. So maybe it's something you never thought of. So what are some things for you? Obviously, it was a completely different stratosphere. But what? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some things that you did to kind of help you? Because again, like, some people let it encompass them, engulf them, and then all they do is think about it and let it affect them every day. I'm not like that, but I do think about him every day. I do. There's always something every day that reminds me of him. So what are some things that you did?
So it was totally different for me in that sense, but like, I didn't really have much time to grieve or do anything like that. Like, he passed away in June. I don't think I had my first like real like cry until October of that year. That's when it finally like sunk in. But at that time I was living in Iowa. I was coaching college baseball, so I was really isolated. So that first year was really tough because I had nothing else to do but think about that. But I moved back here in 2017, and he's everywhere. He's streets named after him. There's pictures everywhere. So like, and he's on TV. So like, it never really left in that sense. But honestly, the thing that really just kept me going is anytime you meet people, like, everyone has a story. Like, met him in an elevator, they met him at a restaurant or something. And so to this day, it's a constant. And so that keeps his memory alive. And like Lance says, you just got to try to live your life and honor them as much as possible, especially living in Louisville and being in the city. You have to really represent the Ali name as best as you can. And so I try to do that either through my work or, with my kids or just people seeing me out. But it's, I see a lot of him. I see a lot of him in my kids. My daughter has his smile and his fierceness, and my son has his compassion and his loving ability. And so I see that every day. And that really is what keeps me going. And then obviously Louisville has done a really good job. My dad didn't go to school at Louisville, but we honor him in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And we have the Ali jerseys. And so I was part of when Chris Mack first got here, we had the Ali basketball jersey that first came out. So I helped direct and shoot that video. And so making sure like I was honoring him the best way I could through that. And yeah, there was a lot of pressure, but I wanted that because I knew this was honoring my family. So I did that video. Then when baseball came out with theirs, I did that one. And then football just had the ones this year, the red ones with the gold. And so me and JB Allen and Max Karen, that football's videographer, we did all that. And so we scouted all the places that he would have ran through in Louisville and all these different things like that. So, and we went down to the house in the West End and did some shoots down there. So those little things are really what keeps me going, is honoring him in that way. And, doing those videos to the best of my ability, because I know I'm honoring my father. So that's what
absolutely. And he would be, I know you don't need me to say that, he'd be so proud of you, dude. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
When we were ranked 10th and Florida State was second, we beat the crap out of them. We honored them before that game too. And that was, to me, and this may sound, you're just saying this, I felt his presence that day, and I don't know how many other people did, but when we were throwing those hooks, it just felt like the game felt like a boxing match. We punched them, they punched us back, we punched them, and then we kept punching them until the next thing I know, we were up like 100-2, and it was a TKO, pun intended. But look, like I said, I think it's important that we talk about Louisville sports, and this is the off season, so bringing a little bit of who we are. I think it's important for us to show you all that as well. We're going to reset real quick.
Excuse me 1 second. That's Jeremy. Just real quick.
Did you just interrupt?
Yes, I did.
The host?
I'm sorry, dude. I just want to say Asaad does do a remarkable job.
Amazing.
And understand, one thing that's cool when you get to be involved a little bit with the university and the whole staff, the marketing, all the comms people, they don't hire slouches.
No.
There are no poorly talented or lazy people that work in the U of L marketing group and the comms and all the video stuff and all that. It's absolutely astonishing, the talent that they have there. One person after the next. And Asaad does a fantastic job. Love watching the videos from the baseball games. It's almost like he captures it all. It's incredible. And Terrace does such a good job with the photography. I mean, there are so many talented people.
What a great 1-2 punch.
So if you're a part of that, and you have to understand the videos you see on social media that you take for granted, that you look at and go, oh, that's a pretty cool video. You got to understand the talent and the work and the
hard
incredible labor that it takes to make that happen. And they all do an amazing job, and Asaad is certainly leading.
Our social media is at the top.
Sorry, Jeremy.
I put them against anybody. Our social media.
That must be what it was like for Sean the first time a girl went to shake his hand and he fumbled the pass up.
Oh, screw it.
Yeah,
not that word.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I was there. Like, this girl was actually feeling Sean and went to go give him a hug or handshake.
Him, but
no, she was digging. She showed up knowing he was there. Normally that would have been, hey, I'm going to be at Jeremy's house. Why don't you come over? And she would have been like,
I might still, because like she wished him happy birthday.
I think she likes him, Sean. I don't know what's wrong with him, but like normally,
I'll get you there, buddy.
We're going to try. Normally,
half man.
Normally that would have been a situation where he would have been, hey, I'm over at Jeremy's, why don't you come over? Oh, I would, but I got to blow dry my cat's hair.
Yeah,
like something stupid. But she showed up.
I got to restitch the seams in my blue jeans.
She showed up, and she went to hug Sean, and Sean stuck out his hand for a handshake, and then she went to shake his hand, and he tried to give her a fist bump instead at the last second. It was like a car wreck in person. It was
amazing.
It was awful.
It was amazing.
If you were Sean or the girl. Let's go ahead and throw to Sean's weekly segment. Speaking of Sean, and again, this is one of the times I wish we could show it up on the screen. But it's did Sean get any action this weekend?
No, yeet.
One of these days we're going to get a yes. Well, let's go ahead and get back to the sports. First off, we want to shout out our sponsors again: Fitness Market, Four Pegs, Collision Course Crew, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and Beckman's Fine Blades. If you all want any information on any of our fine sponsors, contact me, and we'll get you in touch with them. I got a text from Asaad earlier in the week that was like, man, I've been asking him all baseball season to come on and do the show, and he's busy, and rightfully so. It was like, well, maybe in a little while. And then finally it was after the season. I'm like, all right, cool. Didn't want to push it, didn't want to press it. The other day he hit me up. He's like, dude, we got to do it now. And I'm like, well, that's perfect because Peyton canceled on us again and whored us out. So let's bring you in and let's get it done. Man, the right, and thank you for the gift. Me and Joey appreciate it. Once again, Sean left out, just like he is in life.
Sorry, Sean, I only had 2 of them.
It's okay.
It's okay. I'll let you look at mine. It's over there. Look over there.
Nice.
What a ride, man! And you've been fortunate enough to be a part of. You've been a part of every College World Series appearance. Is that correct?
No, actually,
You weren't the first one.
No, so I left Louisville actually right before in 12 when they win 13, but I was there at that Super in Vandy. I went to it in 17 right before I started working at Louisville, and then 19 was my last little bit of being an intern before I got an official job there. And so I've been there 3 times now.
Okay. I don't know why I thought you were there for, I wasn't sure about the first time, but I thought you were there for the rest. But anyway, what a magical season. Can you remember, again, I'll be honest with you, I've only been a fan of Louisville baseball since I was at U of L. Because our guy from Doss, Robbie Williams, was playing on the team then. Tony Williams was playing basketball. Robbie was playing baseball. It was a Louisville Doss connection year. I was there for football, watching everybody play. While I didn't get to.
Lavelle was there for football.
Lavelle, yeah. Well, I mean, I was too.
Well, but he was playing.
That's harsh but true. But Dan, so I remember Coach Prado very well. But Dan McDonald and his first year taking that team and just not molly-whopping Oklahoma State here at home. I think we beat them 21-2, maybe something like that.
3 or something like that, yeah.
Just ignited, and that new again before that year, they were playing in a grassy field where the Yum Center sits at now, in that area vicinity. Maybe not exactly where I say Yum Center, the Cooper Center. We always called it the Baby Yum when it was around, when it first was around. And the field wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. We had I took some electives that may or may not have been frowned upon, but it was like, you only need one more class. Take the softball class. I needed something fun to do while I was, while I was waiting for my school day to be over with and go to work. So I was like, I'll take softball. Oh my God. I tried not to hit the ball. It hurt so bad to run to first base because it was so uneven. You felt like you might have been out on a trail somewhere.
Was that the field that was like when you went over Eastern Parkway?
Yeah. Parkway Field. Right?
Yeah,
Parkway Field.
And the left field wall was so short because of the Parkway was right there.
Yep.
I mean, I drove by there all the time as a student at U of L from the late 80s, early 90s. Never once thought about going to see Louisville play baseball.
Was the field black and white back then, Lance? You interrupt me, I'm gonna throw a joke your way. My bad.
You go. No, it's all right. But I mean, I'm just.
But no, it really was horrible.
It was.
It was a horrible situation. I was so excited when they moved the games to the fairgrounds the next year for limited dates, and then finally we got Jim Patterson. And as much as I hear people, myself included, saying, "Man, I really wish they'd do more." Jim Patterson's one of the elite baseball stadiums in the country. Bar none. I mean, in my opinion, not just because I get to go there very often, but it just from day one I stepped in there, I was like, man, this feels different. This is awesome. Now, in the last 15 years, there's been a lot of college teams that have upgraded their stadium, and they kind of look like mini major league stadiums now. And I do want that for Louisville. I know that as long as JPS is around, I don't know why they ever decided to build it right next to the train tracks. That limits your expansion ability, right? Even to the point to where they don't even really have a lot of room to expand for parking in the back because of other work going on and stuff like that. But I do believe that we deserve the best at Louisville. We've got the best coach. You couldn't tell. I don't care how many other World Series titles other coaches have won. You're not going to convince me there's a better coach in the country than Dan McDonald. And this year, again, proves that because as I was starting, you all know, hang with me. I get back to my point eventually. I don't remember a season where we started off so well and finished so poorly just to get into the college, the NCAA tournament and act like it was the first half of the season again. Do you remember a similar season?
No, not like this. I can tell you that right now. Any other time they've been to the World Series, like they were supposed to be there or they were in contention to be there, but this team always had the potential to do it. It was just we ran into a lot of injuries and just some adversity and stuff, so it was definitely just different with this team, and it's special.
Majority of the team coming back next year offensively. I'm not really sure with the pitchers and stuff where they all stand and stuff, but that's got to excite you not only as somebody who works with the team, but as a fan. It excites me. This team and I don't know if you agree with me or not, but this team reminds me a lot of the team that had guys like Corey Ray, Devin Harrison, Brendan McKay. Like a lot of people could be like, well, you could change out Eddie for Corey and still get similar impact and results. Corey was his own beast though, man. When we had him on the show a couple of episodes ago, I did tell him, I was like, man, you would be on my Mount Rushmore of Louisville baseball players. I said, the odd thing about it is your team had two, because Brendan was only 3-time Olerud Award winner in history at that point. Maybe that still holds up. I don't keep up with other teams' facts or not. Special player. He always, I'll never forget being there in the stands for that still of home. I had no idea. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, we won. Kind of like you used to do with Mango. Don't shoot that. Don't shoot that. Yes, you hit it.
Or Russ.
Yeah, well, anytime Russ touched the ball, yeah, for sure. And then Devin and Zion, they have similar. I would give Corey the edge over, and please don't tell Devin I said this. I think Zion, I think he's a better all around player than Devin, and I think there's the potential for him to be tons and tons ahead of him when it's all said and done. Love you, Devin. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just see a lot of great in Zion Rose. And then you've got the other guys who, I mean, we had guys at every step of the tournament this year that stepped up and was like, it's time to make a moment, whether it be Tag or Monroe or even, Kamai. You want to talk about something, the Mango Mathiang of the baseball team, Kamau Neighbors, a guy that frustrated me all year long, and then all of a sudden it was like a light switched on. And again, he had always been decent. I don't mean like he sucked and then he finally got it. That dude may have been our MVP for the last couple of games of the tournament run. Like he had a couple of perfect 4-for-4 or 5-for-5 games. Alisea, yeah. There's somebody else. What was we always, obviously as fans. No, not him. The little bitty wiry dude that we always made fun, but he could knock it out of the park. He batted at the end of the lineup.
You would have had Alisea and
Kamau. Yeah, Kamau.
Or Byram Hot when they would switch him out.
We're forgetting one guy.
Pike.
Pike, yeah.
Pike.
Even him though, dude, he had his times where he was like, all right, well, we need to run. I'll just knock it out of the park.
Did he hit 2 home runs in the one game?
No, he had
that was Monroe that hit 2.
Yeah, Jake had 2, but Pike had one against Miami. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the first
yep. Top to bottom, I cannot remember. And again, I'm probably doing a disservice to a lot of the guys I've watched over the years, but I can't remember a lineup that was this consistent. When they were good, consistent, and as deep, you'd have to go back to the Corey Ray when you got guys like Corey, Devin, Brendan, Rosenbaum, Colin Lyman. You just keep going down.
Stowers, all those guys.
Yeah. Josh. I mean, just the thing that set. I would say that this year's team, again, results be danged. Let's mark them out of the way. This year's team and Corey's team, probably my 2 favorite. I would venture to say probably the 2 best teams we've had here since 2000. Maybe before. I don't remember before 2000, but the thing that sets them apart is that pitching staff for Josh Rogers, Funkhauser, the Birdies, Drew Harrington. I mean, what was the one freshman that came in the one year and just started out like 13-0? You know who I'm talking about.
Who actually won? He was a freshman All-American. Cade McClure.
Yeah, I'm just that's what sets it apart. And no disrespect to our pitchers this year, but you're talking about maybe 7, 8 major league pitcher. Lincoln Hensman was on the team. Like, I'm going to remember more, and probably just we'll be in the middle of a conversation. And I'm going to be like, player C, and you're going to be like, what are you talking about? I just remembered another one. But big chance to get back to Omaha next season. Have to develop our bullpen. But as you said, injuries kind of forced our bullpen to start, and then our bullpen to be a little bit shallower than it should have been. As long as everything works out and the injuries curtail a little bit, I have no doubt that we'll be back to normal Louisville baseball. But man, it's just like the COVID year, man. That year we knew, like the real fans knew, this is our championship year. We're going to win the title, and it was taken from us. This year kind of felt like the opposite. It was like, are we even going to get in the NCAA tournament? And then again, the proverbial light switch was flipped on, and there wasn't anybody that could beat us but us. And it's just the fact that there's joy in my being for all of our sports getting back. We've had some rough times in all three. To have them all back and trending upwards, man, it's just so awesome. Let me get back to the chat line real quick, because I have neglected that a little bit. Bradley Reynolds said they would play at Knights Hall in the Final Four in the championship. So that's what it was. The Final Four had to be moved. Thank you, Bradley. I appreciate that, my man. Babu says he's saying the same thing. If the Ville keeps winning the Final Four in the chip, we'll be at Knights Hall because of the state fair. Okay. Robbie says, through good times and bad, Cardinal die hard. Sam says, friends and Higgy. Hey, Sam, why aren't you on the show? So you're watching the show, you're listening to the show, but you're not here with the greatest of all time. All of us and Sean. It's just crazy. Kevin Watson, what's up, Kevin? What's up, boys? Quentin says, Ali the GOAT. Yeah, and his dad wasn't bad either. Kevin says, what's up? Okay. On YouTube and Facebook. Robbie says he has his dad still, but not his stepdad. He was the most impactful on him. Well, we're sorry to hear that, and glad hopefully these words we were talking again, it's all, anybody can talk sports, but not everybody can connect on a personal level. And that's something I feel like we all have in common here. Kevin Watson said, good to hear your stories today. Had to be some pressure living up to Ali. What a great man. What a legacy he left behind. Listen, you say that, Asaad is, and he's going to be like, man, don't be saying it, but equally as great. I've had the privilege of not only being his friend for about the last decade. We'll call it a decade. It's not been that far, but we'll just clip it at that. I've got to watch this guy become a father and as somebody that can't have kids, there's nothing that joys you more than seeing your friends not only have kids, but becoming great parents. And this dude knocks it out. But no matter what he does, like, and the fact that it makes me happy to say that, it's crazy. But yeah, it's just, I'm so proud of you in so many ways, man.
What he said though, like there's no pressure, and that's the big thing people always say. Like, what's the pressure of living up to? I was never trying to be him or follow in his footsteps. So
right.
I created my own path, and I've played baseball since I was 8 years old. So it was never a question what I was going to do. But this isn't like a Bronny situation trying to be LeBron or Michael Jordan's kid play. Like, I did my own thing. So honestly, I'm just keeping his legacy alive. So if you want to say the pressure of like keeping that legacy or, maintaining the Ali name, that's one thing. But as far as anything else pressure wise, it's not that, because I never wanted to be him or step in his shadow. So
Bronny needs to look at you and do the same thing.
Thing. I got to give it to him though, man. Everything everybody hating on Bronny, man, like the kid's still going out and playing every day. He's still trying to answer all the questions he can. I know he's definitely on a tight
he's
line of
not an NBA player, bro.
He's not, but I mean, right now, and that's the problem. And we don't know what he's going to
10
be
years,
4 or 5
he might
years. I think what's working the least for him is 6'2", and they just said it on a podcast the other day. And Kevin Durant and them, like, guards are 6'5".
Yeah, he's
small.
undersized. He's undersized.
Yeah. He has heart, and the kids. I mean, everybody's down him, and he's still going to try to work it out. So I'm rooting for him, but yeah, it's going to take him some time. I think he does need to play down in the G and work his way up.
Absolutely. Kevin starts is reminiscent. I guess I'm a little bit behind because we're having such a great conversation. Kevin's reminiscent about Parkway Field and their green monster, which you brought up, was just the expressway is where it started. He said his brother played there in the 80s. The field was bad. Robbie says it's amazing what new facilities will do for your confidence. Jurich was a visionary.
Dress good, feel good.
Absolutely. Fabian says go Cards. Let's see, what else? This is where coach makes a statement. We're keeping everybody and then bringing in new guys. I agree with that. Quentin's MVP, Kamal Neighbors. Babu says that COVID year was our best team. It cost us the title and can't tell me any different. Detmers and Miller were beasts, no doubt. That 21 team that got canceled, we were number 2 in the country. And then Sam says, yeah, I know. Church got out at 1. It was Communion Sunday. All right, I think, well, plus we did do this a little bit early today, full disclosure, because we're heading down to the country to visit with our family right after the show is over with. So that's why we did early. The next episode it'll be on the 20th. It'll be my birthday weekend. And we'll have Peyton Sieve in here to give excuses on why he keeps canceling and finally coming in. I'm just messing with you, Peyton. Rapid fire, University of Louisville women's head basketball coach Jeff Walls is pleased to announce the addition of Brittany Morris as an assistant coach to his staff. Morris joins the Cardinals after spending the previous 4 seasons at NC State as an assistant coach. NC State women's basketball program has been a pretty decent deal the last 4 to 6 years. So the fact she was a part of that, that's the thing about Coach, man. He keeps losing assistants to high-profile jobs, and then he reloads. And I don't know that I've seen a coach do that before on any level here at Louisville. Just keep reloading and doing stuff like that. Former U of L men's soccer forward Gage Guerra has signed a first-team contract with the Major League Soccer's Portland Timbers. Guerra was signed from Portland's MLS Next Pro affiliate Timbers 2 to a 1-year deal with club options for the next 3 seasons. U of L running back Isaac Brown was named a second-team All-American by Athlon Sports, and 8 others were named to the ACC All-Conference squad.
He's also top 10 in the college football game, like top 10 offensive player, and I think the second-rated running back behind Love from Notre Dame, which I think's he's underrated at number 2.
I think so too. I mean, our number 2 is underrated as well. U of L's baseball program had a pair of student athletes recognized on Tuesday as the College Sports Communicators released the 2025 academic All-American baseball teams. The guys we talked about earlier, EKJ, Eddie King Jr., and Zion Rose were each voted to the academic All-American second team. King at DH, Rose is an outfielder. Louisville women's track and field redshirt senior Sinclair Savage. What a name. That's just a sports name. Coming to the ring, Sinclair Savage. Well, Lance could probably do it better.
No, you're fantastic.
I know. Thanks, Lance. Has been named to the 2025 ACC Women's Outdoor Track and Field Athlete of the Year, as announced by the conference office on Monday. Savage, who was also named I don't know why he does this. Now, full disclosures, our guy Higgy, bless his heart, does all the rapid fires. And so was also, instead of writing it all out, he abbreviates it. So it's not something easy like WWE Southeast Regional Women's Out. The USTFCCCACA Southeast Regional Women's Outdoor Field Athlete of the Year on June 20th, becoming the 3rd Cardinal in the last 4 seasons to earn that particular honor, joining Gabriella Leon in 2022 and Jaden Ulrich last year in 2024. Please support our fine photography crew, Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, Justin Kruger, Keith Russell. I would normally say bar none the best in the business. But when you got Asaad and Terrace, man, they're up there with. I mean, we have more players, but they got a higher per player rating than we do. Just amazing at what they do. Each and one. Jeff, he does football. TJ does men's basketball. JK does baseball. Keith does women's basketball. TJ does women's basketball. Keith does men's basketball. Just phenomenal at what they do. For sponsorship opportunities for the show, please email me. The email is in the bottom left-hand corner. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer YouTube. You can find the audio version on over 125 different avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, and iHeartMusic, to name a few. hit subscribe, like, heart, +sign, or whatever it is that Sean does on the weekends to find a date, which is nothing really successful. So please hit the button instead of what Sean does. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, the place it all began. Go to the podcast tab, podcast drop-down menu, select CSZ podcast for the stuff since 93.9. Go to archives for the stuff before. Nikki V deleted all of our stuff from 93.9, so blame him if you're angry.
He tried to delete our nostrils.
He did
last time.
this.
Hey, shout out to Terrace too, man. She just got married last week, so I just
awesome! Yeah, congratulations, Terrace.
My little sister, so it's big. I'm proud of
her.
That's awesome,
dude. You again, y'all. You're my friend, and to say this, I don't say this, tongue in cheek. Like what you and her have done for this program through pictures and video and stuff like that has been game changing. It has changed not only the. It's changed the aura around the program. Even when things were bad, we saw your videos, we saw y'all's pictures, and it made us feel a certain type of way on the inside. And we thank you all for that. Yeah, Nikki V, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but he came in and did the show last week with Chris Williams from Four Pegs, or as he likes to make me call him, the Meat Master. I don't really like calling another grown man that, but whatever. Nikki's like, hey, I need to use the restroom real quick. 5 minutes before showtime. Where can I go? I was like, hey, you got the bathroom's right across the hallway. This dude drops a deuce 5 feet from the studio.
3-flusher.
A 3-flusher. Doesn't
right
turn
there.
the fan on.
Man.
Doesn't turn the fan on, and then he comes out and he's coming in. And right before that, I was like, man, he's been in there a long time. And I looked up and I said, he's in there pooping. And then sure enough, he was. And he comes out and he leaves the door open.
Oh.
The bathroom's right there.
Toilet etiquette on 0.
I mean, I got up fast. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Hit the lights.
Turn the fan on, shut the door.
I'm like, come on, bro.
Party foul.
I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
I would have thrown so many yellow flags at him if I had them, but I didn't have any at all. Check out our exclusives at cardinalsportszone.com. Shout out to everybody out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to our friends Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage doing the Lord's work Monday through Friday from 10 to noon on ESPN 93.9 The Ville. Shout out to the aforementioned Dalton Pence. He's got his new show from 6 to 7 Mondays with DP. That stands for Dalton Pence and nothing nasty people out there. On the Big X, and our guy Terrence Jennings, former Louisville basketball player, has debuted a new show on social media called Spill in the Ville. This week's guest, Tony Williams, joined TJ and his producer, Blake McCauley, a member of Cardinal Sports Zone, for their weekly videos. They're doing a really good. They're new, so it's not like these are world-class productions, but just like we started out rough, and now we're in the, again, I told us, like when he came the first time, we were in the basement. When he came in today, I said we were moving on up like the Jeffersons. We went from the outhouse to the penthouse. We're up top now. But I see a lot of great things for TJ and Blake in their future. Just like with anything, you got to get some reps in, you get better. They got the benefits of having a guy like Terrence who played at U of L and had teammates that want to come on and talk, and they both work up and shoot 360. So you get the Tony Williams, the Peyton Sivas, the Russ Smiths. You get all that, and it's really, really good for them. So watch all those shows I just mentioned. Social media. Where can everybody find you on social media, Lance?
Really just at CLM250. I don't know why that is. At CLM250 on Twitter, and that's it.
I think you need to change your Twitter name. I'm going to get him talked into change.
It's
Voice
Lance
of Louisville
McGarvey.
502, or
I'm
just
not,
Lance McGarvey.
I'm a voice. There are lots of voices. I'd call Paul Rogers the voice of Louisville, though. I mean, really. I mean, the guy's a legend.
Love Paul Rogers.
Love Paul.
I played golf with him one time.
Look, we got our 6
Fantastic.
degrees of separation with Paul Rogers. I actually got to do a celebrity basketball game for Nick Rodman in Mount Washington. They did a benefit for him, and Montrez played in that basketball game. I got to do play-by-play with Paul Rogers. For some reason, they asked me to be a part of it. No clue why. And I was the score peeper and keeper, and I was the scorekeeper, and I did the commentator. It was like we were doing an old school wrestling 1-2. Like he was Gorilla Monsoon, and I was Bobby the Brain Heenan. It was pretty Pretty fun aside. Where can they find you on socials?
Twitter, just the real Asaad Ali, and then Instagram, Saudi_Hendricks. That's basically
There
it.
you go, Joey. Where can they find you?
Joe Wallman 526.
Pretty simple, to the point. Sean, where can they find you on Twitter first?
At Elville Sean.
And now where can they find you on Farmers Only?
I don't have a Farmers Only.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Never
One,
going to
two,
get it,
three.
502. Okay. I got you. Final thoughts. I want to ask I'm going to repose the question. Mikael Brown, we're going to start off with you first, Asaad, is the best Louisville basketball freshman since ...
I mean, we don't really know yet because he hasn't put on the Cardinal uniform, so I can't say that. But it's in my
Okay,
time,
he has the potential to be the
potential.
best.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Since.
Definitely. It's tough when you look back at it. Like you had to throw Shane Behan in there. They went to a Final Four when he was a freshman. Terry Rozier was pretty darn good. I would love to say, Peyton, but I mean, Edgar was still there, like playing at that time. So
Yeah, forget Peyton anyway. We don't.
Yeah, it's probably anyone before. I mean, I don't want to go out on a limb and say like Griff or anybody, but like I don't know of anybody in our time, honestly, or my time at least.
Okay. Lance, as our resident seasoned basketball knower, who would you?
If he is what we think
yeah.
he is, and he is an elite, and by elite you're talking top 5 or 6 recruits in the entire country.
Yeah.
If he is what we believe he is from his performance right now for Team USA, I mean, frankly, I would have to go to Purvis.
Okay.
I'd have to say he's the best freshman we've had if it pans out. He has the potential to be the best freshman we've, and I know it's 2 different positions completely. It's
Sure.
different basketball, but that level of eliteness, I would say Purvis Ellison.
Okay. Joey?
Well, just because like they're both probably right, Griff or Purvis. I'm just going to say he's the best one since David Johnson. I mean, David Johnson was had some notoriety coming to Louisville. Because I mean, again, who else am I going to say?
Exactly.
Well,
you could have said DeJuan.
Well, but still,
DeJuan hit my head. I got a couple
DeJuan,
others.
And as good as DeJuan was,
Yeah.
like Purvis is. I mean, Purvis did he win? He won a national championship as a freshman.
Yeah.
So like, you almost
can't top that.
go any higher than that. So I'm just trying to get another name out there.
I like it. David Johnson's a great freshman.
Yeah, he's the best freshman we've had in quite a while. So I'll say that.
Sean,
I might go Francisco Garcia.
That's a good one.
When he came in, it was him and Taekwon Dean. When they came in, they were kind of a duo, but it was Francisco that really, I thought, shined the most out of it. Obviously, Taekwon became one of the greatest shooters we ever had, but Francisco was like the playmaker and all. And that's, in fact, they're very similar, except Francisco played a little bit different position. He's a forward, about 6'6", but they're very similar type of games. Shoot very well, pass the ball. That's who he reminds me of.
Okay.
Actually, as a player.
I'm going to go a couple of different ones. I'm going to say, first off, I'm going to go with Jerry Smith because he set the record for freshman scoring his first game, and he was an impact on both sides of the basketball. Earl Clark, another one that just come in and just did his dang thing from day one. But the 2 people I want to mention, I'm just going to name like 30 people and be like, yeah, this is my top 2.
No, you said one name the best.
I said
like I had. So I had one name.
I'm going to go with Smartle Samuels is my pick 1 because he come in and was an immediate 15 and 12 every game. And with the veteran leadership he had on those teams that made him, they made him better. He made them better because they didn't have to shoulder the scoring a lot. They could just throw it down. But the one that stands out to me the most, and this is mostly because my first day at U of L, I walked into the Student Activity Center, which they used to call the SAC. Which was fun. I laughed every time somebody said that to me back then because I guess I was 12 mentally. I saw this guy. He had put a basketball on, or somebody had. I don't know how the basketball got on top of the backboard, but when I walked in, there was a basketball on top of the backboard, and I watched this giant dude just run up, grab it off the backboard, and tomahawk dunk it. And that year, he went on to, I believe, score the first triple-double in U of L history.
Especially against Kentucky.
And against Kentucky, it was Samaki Walker.
Yeah.
and what a good we're gonna have him on the show hopefully before the summer's over with. One of my best buddies from college. Love that guy to death, but he changed the game, man. There just weren't many, but I mean, we could probably talk for 4 hours about guys that were special when they first got here to Louisville. But yeah, that's just a couple of mine. Let's see if anybody on the chat line really quickly has mentioned anybody. Toilet etiquette. Did you leave smell good spray? No, Robbie, we didn't. My goodness, the potential of this team this year, it's up there for sure. All right, so what a great question. Final thoughts though for me, NCAA basketball on the PlayStation making a comeback. That's awesome. Now we just need the baseball game to come back. They made it 2 years and then stopped making. I don't know why they ever made it. I loved college baseball back in the day, but no, I would have bought it. I did buy it because I wanted to lead the country in home runs.
A big market for it then.
There would be now though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but back then there wasn't a market for it.
Shout out before I forget our fine friends at the 502 Circle, Dan and Mark, and them doing a phenomenal job helping get this train going, as Coach Beffer would say. Sean, your final thoughts for the show, and then we'll close it out.
I just want to send a shout out to my dad. He was in the hospital recently. He's better now. He's at home recovering.
There goes bragging again.
But it was rough. It was rough. But I'm just glad he's okay right now, and we're trying to get him back on his feet and moving around. He is moving around a little bit, but it's a little hard on him right now.
Yeah, well, we're praying for him, and y'all have a great family unit around him. So I have no doubt that he'll get well soon. Joey, your final thoughts for the day?
Maryland sucks.
Well, we know Maryland's. We know you hate the University of Maryland. Other than that,
nope. Just gonna hit the road after this. Get home, get mom ready, so y'all can come scoop us up and we can head down.
I can't wait to go hang out with the family. We don't get to see them as much anymore, so it's going to be a good time.
Looking forward to it. So,
Lance, final thoughts for the show. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. Sorry I interrupted you a couple of times. I just get excited.
Oh, it's fun.
No, it's okay. No, yeah, Joey. See, we may not have ever fought before, but he loves interrupting me when I'm in the middle of
that's
a
the only
thought.
way to get a word in sometimes.
No, TBT is going to be fun this year. I'd love to see Trez. I can't wait to tailgate. Football's right around the corner. I'm getting excited about football season. It's going to be a hell of a season for the Louisville Cardinals all the way around. So a lot of good stuff going on, man.
No
tailgate out at Freedom Hall.
No podcast at the tailgate this year. Let's just go tailgate.
That's fine. We can do that.
Like that.
Asaad?
Just two things real quick. One, just with baseball, like I just need to put an emphasis on how important this postseason, in all season long, the families of the team and the girlfriends and the friends were, because along the way, like they were with us in Nashville, they were there in the lobby. So like, even though we were on the road, they were there every time we came back in the hotel. They were right there with us. So we were right at home the whole time. And I think that helped propel us and get us to where we were, because the guys never felt like it was Nashville against us. It was always Louisville, and we were always at home there. So I'm just really want to give a shout out to all the parents and families and friends that stuck with us the whole tournament. And even when after we lost to Bellarmine and stuck with us after that, like you would have never thought we would have got to where we were. And then just lastly, like just be on the lookout for Louisville volleyball, man, this coming year, man. It's going to be special. Dan Meskey, the new head coach, he's been here the whole time, even when Danny was here. We didn't drop a beat. The girls are going to be right where they were. Kara Cressy, Chloe Chacon, Naelis Cabello, they're going to lead the way, and it's going to be a special season. I was just down there last week and watched them practice, and it's really cool to see just how, after losing such a big presence in Danny Busby and Kelly, how the girls have been able to be like, okay, let's reset and let's get back to business where we were. Like, don't forget, we just played for a national championship. So, and we have a lot of girls returning now. It won't be the same without DeBeer and Elena Scott, but we have a lot of people that are helping fill those holes, and I think this is going to be a big season. So make sure you come to L&N and check us out, and if you can get down to the Yum Center and see a couple games down there, it's going to be a fun season. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there's nothing like watching I was so when I was up at U of L the second time to finish up everything, that was when Earl and Derek Character were freshmen, and we had probably one of the best volleyball teams we ever had with Jennifer Hoffman and Katie George, and the one and only Lena Ustimenko, who was probably the greatest we've ever had. But what great, just we have great athlete names here at Louisville. I mean, you just named Cabello, Cressy. Who was the other one you said?
Chloe Chacon.
Chacon.
Transfer from Purdue.
What a Chacon. Then in baseball, you got Tague. Zion. Byram Hott. Like,
shout out to those guys playing Team USA too. Zion, Lucas, and Tag didn't make the final roster for the team that went to Japan, but Lucas.
He's a freshman though. He'll get there.
Oh yeah, he's special.
That's the crazy thing, man. As good as he is, he's just a freshman.
Yeah, Tague, we're disappointed in you for not making the final team. So please use this as fuel to. No, I'm just kidding. We're not. My final thoughts are just this, man. I appreciate everybody coming in. Genuinely love you guys and appreciate it. We have, as far as the next episode, again, we will have the incomparable Peyton Siva in here, this time for real. He promised. July the 20th. And join us this Wednesday night at 8 o'clock for the Ringside Podcast. And Asaad, we didn't really get to get into this like I wanted to. We're going to have you either come on one of the wrestling podcasts or have you come back with open invitation, whichever one. Because wrestling is another thing that I think bonds a lot of us here. I'm not sure how much Lance was into wrestling, but that's what
Jerry the King Lawler, baby. I used to
go.
watch the Memphis Wrestling Boys. Tommy Wildfire Rich, Superstar, Bill Dundee, and that was hosted by Lance Russell and Dave Brown, ringside. I used to love wrestling, man.
Then I grew up. This dude's going to take my job.
You got to get him to do the intro for Ringside Podcast.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that idea, but just such a huge impact. That's one, like two things Dad took us to do when we were growing up: Louisville events and Tuesday night at the Gardens.
I mean, his dad's in the WWE Hall of Fame, so you know.
I know. He went to WrestleMania. Or you were supposed to go. Did you end up going?
No, my mom went there and got the award and everything.
Oh yeah, his mom went and got.
Just got to hang out with The Rock and the greatest championship belt.
Yeah.
No
big deal.
No.
It's all humble though, but like it's a great honor and
it's awesome.
I grew up watching wrestling like with my grandma. Honestly, we'd watch that.
Have you seen the WWE Hall of Fame ring yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I don't think she'll show me because I want to take it. So she just says she has it, but
I was gonna say bring it to a show. I want to touch it.
Oh, if it's here, I'll bring it next time.
I ain't gonna lie. I want to
Absolutely.
touch our WWE Hall of Fame ring.
So I probably would be down.
I mean, we're co-owners, so
yeah, we both have a one share of WWE.
I get the stockholders report every year.
We get to vote on stuff. It's pretty cool, even though it doesn't mean a whole lot. Kind of like the presidential election we vote in.
I help vote Vince out.
That's fair. But that's like the first time that I'm watch your feet. I'm about to drop a name. I walked in and saw my quarterback from college, Chris Redmond, for the first time in like 5. This was 8 years ago. It was a while back, and he walks in, gives me the biggest hug, and about breaks my hand. And I'm like, "What do you have on your hand?" And it was this Ravens Super Bowl ring. And he's like, "Do you want to wear it?" I said, "Heck no, I'm a Steeler, baby. I don't want to touch that Ravens ring."
That's probably why it hurt your hand.
It probably. But
that bird crap on it.
He did let me hold it. My God, it was.
He let you hold it?
He let me hold the ring, Joseph. He let me hold the ring, and it was heavy.
Did it fill up your hand?
I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. This is a family show. I'm not doing it. This is stuff we do with Sean. Everybody said they love the shows. Thank you so much. They're all saying thank you. Quincy Riley's mom, Miss Kelly, on the feed. We appreciate you. Hope you're doing well, Miss Kelly, and we're so excited to see what Quincy does down there in NOLA this year. Guys, I think we've got everything out we need to get for Sean and Joey, the regulars, for our guys and honorary ooses and family members, Asaad Ali and Lance McGarvey. We hope you guys enjoy this week. L's up. Thanks again for the support. We love you guys. Until next time. This has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast.